It's Mighty Mouse! Hey VC, it's Ron. Thanks for joining me. Hey, I got that video I promised, my top acid rock picks, and that's going to encompass blues, heavy rock, hard rock, psych rock. It's going to be all elements of those, different combinations, but basically that's going to be the formula of what I'm about to show. And yeah, I showed you my Mighty Mouse t-shirt, and it got me thinking, what if Mighty Mouse did battle with Underdog? Who would win? Something to think about, VC. Let me know. I watched Mighty Mouse probably first before I watched Underdog. So he was a pretty powerful little mouse, let me tell you, as I can remember. So he'd be a little more, he'd be smaller and more agile. So he might be able to maneuver around Underdog a little bit better. So he might end up kicking Underdog's ass. So anyway, what we got going on the turntable right now is Illusion. And this is their third and final 1969 album. And it did not make my top 12 list that I'm about to show, but it come close. So I thought I would play it instead. Okay, what we're gonna do is the first album I'm going to show is kind of, if you remember my previous video where I showed my top 10 psych picks, I started off with the Byrds 5D because that was kind of an important album. It kind of kick-started the whole psychedelic scene. Well, I'm going to do something similar to that. This album kind of kick-started sort of the heavy rock scene where it bridged garage into heavy rock, and that is the other half. And this album was actually recorded in 1966, but it was not released until 1968. And it featured Randy Holden, you know, just the fantastic guitarist that was in Blue Cheer, and he did a solo album, and he was in the Mark IV, and then he went into the Sons of Adam, and then he went into the other half, and then he went into Blue Cheer. And I think when I showed this album originally, I said that the Sons of Adam and the other half were the same band. Well, that was misinformation. On further research at the Randy Holden website, which I urge you to visit, I found out that the Mark IV and the Sons of Adam were the same band, except for the drummer. The other half was a totally different outfit. But yeah, just a great album, you know, as far as I'm concerned, and yeah, it bridges the garage into the harder sound and splashes of psychedelia as well. So that will be number 12. Number 11 is a band out of London, England called Black Cat Bones, and this is their sole album, Barbed Wire Sandwich, and it was released in late '69. This band was formed in 1966 and they disbanded in '71. Early members before this LP came out included a couple of guys that would go into Free and eventually into Bad Company. But there's other bands associated with this band as well. Foghat, Leafhound. The guitarist, Rod Price, he went into Foghat after this band broke up. And there's two brothers on here, and the Brooks brothers. When this band broke up, they formed Leafhound. There's also some cactus and atomic rooster in their family tree as well. This album rates 3 to 4 stars. I give it a solid 3.5 stars, and some of the songs on it even rate higher than that. And this is a rare US pressing on PIP, and it's a white label promo. And then the next one on my list is, this was such a hard decision for me. I mean, you know how it is. You get 10, 12 albums together and it's hard to pick your favorites. So I'm just doing the best I can. There's going to be margin of error here, let me tell you, and sometimes there might be 3 or 4 albums that are all number 5s, you know. But I had to come up with some kind of a lineup. The next one is Blue Cheer Vincibus Eruptum, groundbreaking heavy rock, proto-metal band. This album was recorded in late '67, released in early '68, and I'm sure a lot of you know it, and not much to say about it, but just a fantastic power trio. The next one on the list is The Stooges. And this is their first album, 1969. And this is a scarce first pressing. It's on the red label. But this is the first pressing where it doesn't actually say The Stooges on the label. The more common version will have their name printed on the label. And this album does mix some psychedelia into the lineup with the track We Will Fall, excuse me. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of you know this album, just a fantastic LP. The next one on the list, you know, this is all subjected to taste, but like I said, I had to come up with something. This is just balls out proto-metal, hard rock, Sir Lord Baltimore, and this is from 1970. They are from New York, and this is an original Canadian pressing. You can see it has a pocket opening at the end of the album cover rather than the US copies had the digipack opening, you know, right here. And or not digipack, that's CD. What's this? Oh, what was it called? Oh, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Unipack. So it's on a black Mercury label, which is unique. And yeah, just really strong hard rock album right here. The next one on the list is, this is from 1968, and this is a Savage Resurrection. And this is a little more, this has got that 1968 acid rock, blues rock charm. It seems like when you listen to these heavy acid rock albums from the 68, they just had this certain charm. And that charm kind of faded away a little bit more, and towards 69 they started getting a little bit more professional. But yeah, this is just real cool psych rock albums on the red Mercury label. Okay, the next one on the list is the debut by SRC, Scott Richardson Case. And this band was out of Detroit. And several bands on my list here were out of the Detroit area. And this is on the Rainbow Capital logo. Nice clean, it's got the promo punch stamp here at the top where it says free. It indicates a promo label or promo cover. And Yeah, really good organ dominated psych rock, ripping guitar, really, really cool. This next one on my list is the solo album from Randy Holt and Population 2. I mentioned him earlier, he was in the band Other Half, and this is a very rare album. If you go to Randy's website, he states that this album never actually got out, but there are authentic copies floating around. So it did get out in small numbers, probably sent to music industry people. In fact, I actually had an original copy of this at one time, but it was playable, but it was super rough. And I actually just borrowed it from the record store, and it was only $7, but at that time, we're talking early 90s here. I had no clue how rare that album was, otherwise I would have bought it. But yeah, they're very, very hard to find an original copy. And this is a late 80s European counterfeit, exact reproduction. And you can tell by the cover is a little bit heavier. And if you look right here, you can see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's indications where the copy, the original album this was copied from had a drill hole in it, and it actually, see the picture of it on the cover. And this is on the Hobbit label, which was the same label that Sapphire's Thinkers were on. Kind of an obscure label. So yeah, this is just killer 69 heavy rock. Just a drummer and Randy on guitar. And I guess the drummer also did some keyboard work as well. But yeah, just a killer heavy rock album. And if you've never heard this, search it out and check it out. The next one on the list is the MC5, Kick Out the Jams. Another Michigan band. And this is an original copy. It's got the John Sinclair liner notes on the inside that was removed on second pressings. And it's got the graphic liner notes. If you've never read them before, I'm gonna kind of look up right into this area right here. So yeah, pretty graphic. And this has got the MF introduction by John Sinclair that was edited on second pressings as well. That, to me, that's the most crazy, radical, hard rock album of the 60s. Just amazing, really. And it is live. Okay, the next one on my list is, I just picked this up, and it's Dragonfly. So I've already talked about this one, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I did get this sticker off the internet, and I made a copy of it. It's a reproduction of the sticker that was actually pasted on the shrink wrap of the original copies, but it was kind of like a metallic silver color. So, and there's a lot of debate whether this is 68, 70. I even saw some sources that claim 69. But in my previous showing of this, I said I thought it was 70 because that's what a couple of reputable sources said. But I come to find out that this album was actually released in October of 1968. So it is early, ripping hard rock fuzz album. And I actually discovered, I found out that Dragonfly is not actually the name of the band. This is a band called Legend. And there's always been some discrepancy of whether that was true or not, but I found out solid evidence on the internet through an interview with the rhythm guitarist on the Dragonfly album. And he verifies that Dragonfly was actually a concept name that the owners of the label Megaphone came up with. The label folded early on, and so the band members' names or their actual name of the group did not get put on the album cover. So everybody assumes that they're called Dragonfly. That's not true. That's actually the name of the album. This is the band, The Legend, and this is Dragonfly right here. I got their picture off the internet. So yeah, they had an album under the Legend name, and then they had the Dragonfly album as well. So you can go to psychedelicbaby.blogspot.com and you can read the interview by the guitarist from The Legend. And it's quite informative, and it's going to answer a lot of your questions that you may have about this band. Okay, the next one on the list is Morgan. And this is pretty much my top obscurity hard psych album. I mean, it's just fantastic. LP from 1969. And I wish I had an original. Well, I don't. I have a reissue of it. And it came out on the Probe label. Now, original copies will have an insert. And I don't have one of those to show you. But yeah, that's definitely one of probably my favorite obscure psych. So that leaves me, you know, what would be the number one? Well, folks, you can't deny that this is probably the number one heavy, hard psych rock LP of all time. I mean, it's Jimmy. I mean, how can it not be? And yeah, it's been played to death. Everybody knows it. But I gotta tell you, if this was an obscure album put out by a small band in some small town, and then it just died and got forgotten, it would be a monster worth tonnage of bucks. So yeah, this has got to be number one, Jimi Hendrix. Okay, that's gonna do it. I guess I got through them, and yeah, like I said, the lineup's gonna be flexible, but that's pretty close. So the side's over, and that's gonna end our video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll try and get the rest of that US singles collection out soon. Not too many left to show for this time around, and then maybe I'll go back and show some more singles later on down the road. So that's going to be it, guys, and I'll catch you next time. And think about that Mighty Mouse Underdog thing I was telling you about. It's something to ponder. See you guys.